Welcome to Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is our first ever podcast together. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our favorite, well, at least my favorite Scotch, which is the Ardbeg 10. And Jesse, what do you think of that one?
I think it's a great Scotch. Not my favorite, but definitely one of the best.
So what we plan to do with our podcast here, which is our first one ever, is that we plan to have a couple of glasses of scotch, talk about different topics, and basically shoot the crap with you guys.
Absolutely.
So before we get started, how do you like your scotch?
Well, Noah, the Ardbeg Elay Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. This is the 10-year. I like mine neat. I like it straight and nothing added. How do you like yours?
I prefer to actually have a rock in mine.
All right, one rock. How many rocks are we talking about?
Just one rock.
All right, one rock. Let's get this rock going. And pour the scotch.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cheers, mate.
Cheers. Smells so good.
I love the nose on this scotch.
So do I.
A little bit of peat. Teeny bit of smoke.
Definitely love the smoke of that scotch. So I figured it'd probably be good for our first podcast here to talk a little bit about this Ardbeg here, but then also talk a little bit about our past, and so that way people get to know us, and then we can start talking about our very first topic. So, what do you have to say about this one? I know
Well, it is absolutely a fantastic scotch, sitting right at about 46% alcohol by volume. And it's great as far as it is so well balanced. You can have it with anything. One of my favorite things to have this scotch with is creme brulee. Delish. Just saying, a good cognac might beat it from time to time, but this is a great scotch in that sense.
I love creme brulee.
Dude, I keep failing to make that for you. I need to make that for you.
Dude, yeah, next time I come over to your place, we'll definitely have to have some creme brulee. But I love how you torch it and get it all nice and crusty, and then you tap with the spoon and then have that custard in there. So freaking good. I love creme brulee. I never had the Ardbeg with creme brulee, so that's something I wouldn't mind trying sometime.
Absolutely. One of the things it does is bring out that vanilla and that burnt sugar, the caramel flavors, almost like a toffee, but more caramel than that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I love vanilla. Vanilla. Like my brother thinks I'm an idiot because he's the other day he's asking me hey Noah, what kind of ice cream do you like? I'm like, I like vanilla. And he's like, what? Just vanilla? I'm like, yeah, I just like vanilla. Something about vanilla, I just love the taste of vanilla.
Nice. Well, you bring up a good point. Your brother. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Noah.
Well, just kind of give you a little bit of background for those who are listening to our podcast. Obviously, we grew up together. We went to high school together, hung out, did a bunch of stupid things as kids in high school. From there, I went to the University of Colorado for short, basically, and joined a fraternity. That's where I got really introduced to alcohol. While I was living there in Boulder, I started working at a liquor store when I turned 21. Became well versed in different types of booze and wine, as you know, Jesse. And,
yes.
And hopefully, I've been able to share a lot of what I've tried along with you, so that way, hopefully, you like some of the stuff that I brought and shared in the past. And then from there, I went into the insurance industry, moved to Utah, moved to Vegas, found my way back to Colorado. But basically, my background, I'd say, in work life has been liquor store retail and selling insurance, and also teaching new agents to pass their state exam for life insurance to sell it. And so, I don't know, some people might think that's kind of boring, teaching people life insurance, but I do actually love it a lot. That's just a little bit about me. I love single malt scotches. I love French wines and Italian wines. Those are mostly my favorite. I love what's called the
Choice.
old world style wines, and gotta love Champagne. I love champagne.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
uh, One of my favorites is Veuve Clicquot. I don't need something like super duper expensive, but I do love Veuve Clicquot and the yellow label. And that kind of brings me to why I like Ardbeg a lot and why it's one of my favorites. I know it's not the most expensive. It's not the best tasting, but I think for the price value, I think it's like right around $60 a bottle, if I remember correctly. But for that price point, you get a nice, solid single malt Scotch, and that's why it's one of my favorites. So
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about you.
All right, well, Noah, you kind of kicked it off. It's going to be hard to top any of that. But one thing Noah didn't mention is we've been friends for a long time. He did mention that, but how long of a time? So we met way back, all the way back, 1989, maybe 1988. And so we've been friends for 32, 33 years. Great friends. Kicked it off back in Aurora, Colorado, Smoky Hill High School. Got into a little bit of trouble there, not a whole lot. Actually, we were both pretty great students. When Noah went off to CU, I was straight down Highway 93, to those of you familiar with Colorado, at the Colorado School of Mines studying metallurgy. Wow, that didn't pan off because I also started working at Target. And that did pan off. So I've worked with it for a very long time, almost 30 years now. Great company, love it. And in some of these changes, though, while Noah has had a lot of travels and a lot of diversity, mine's been a little bit different. But a couple things I'm super proud of is in my time, I've managed to help raise my children. Beautiful daughter, 16 years old, an amazing son, 14 years old, and they do great things. So they're definitely my pride points. I'm blessed to be a father. Two of the greatest gifts I've ever received in life. I can't tell you how much I think about them every day, and I'm so grateful that they are part of my life. With that, talking about some of those interesting things, one thing very common with Noah and I is CU was really how I got introduced to alcohol as well. So going to visit Noah right down Highway 93 again, had some great parties, had some amazing fun, did not actually get into any trouble, so that was the fantastic part. But Noah did a great job introducing me to flavors and the nose and the taste, the body of a wine and what some of these things do. And just like himself, I love a great champagne. I love a fantastic scotch. I do love French wines. More for me is the Italian wines, but when it's champagne, I'm going straight Bollinger. That is absolutely my favorite nonstop. Not just because James Bond drinks it, but because the flavor is unprecedented. The care they go into making that champagne is phenomenal. It's much like a great Scotch, and some of them are aged just as long.
So this is funny because I know we were a little bit wondering about what we're going to talk about tonight, and as you're kind of talking about your story, and you're saying like how long we've been friends for and stuff like that,
Yeah.
um, it reminded me of a story that you tend to tell people all the time about.
Uh
Yeah,
oh.
about what it means to be a good friend.
Yeah.
So, like, I know I have, like, this is the funny part, like, even though we've been friends for a really long time, I still haven't met your kids.
Oh, dude.
I've seen pictures of them. You talked about them a lot. Still haven't met them, but partially that's my fault because I've been out of, I lived out of state for a long time, and only recently moved back. And then when I did move back, it's during the COVID era, so it's not like you can really like hang out and see people because everyone's all freaked out about masks and staying 6 feet away from each other and stuff. But in any case, when someone asks you what does a friend mean to you, or something like that, what's the story you tell people?
Oh man, you know,
Come on, you know what story I'm talking about too.
I'm gonna let you tell it because I honestly think you Tell it better, Noah. Go for this.
Okay, so I don't know if I tell it better because I
No,
usually
you absolutely do.
I think the way I view it and the way you view it are two different things. For a long time, I thought you were upset with
All
me.
right, all right. I'll tell it. I'll tell it. I'll tell it. You ready for this? Okay, so here's the story of how you know you've got a great friend. One day, you've known your friend, we're going to say for the better part of a decade at this point, maybe even almost a decade. And you're at work and you're working hard and you're actually sweeping the floor. Things are great. It's a good day. You've been productive. You've accomplished many tasks. And then all of a sudden, over the radio, you hear you got a phone call. And so you run over to the phone. This is a while ago, so you guys got to realize it wasn't just picking a cell phone out of your front pocket or your back pocket or your side pocket. This was literally going over to a wall where there was a corded phone, picking it up and dialing an
Yeah,
extension.
I actually called his store. So you gotta remember this.
I'm at work.
He didn't have a cell phone or whatever, and I called his store. I think back then, I think the cell phones were the old Wall Street brick phones, anyways. But in any case, no cell phones. So I called his store. So obviously, like his whole store knows that somebody's calling him.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm back. Things are going great. It's a good day. Feeling good. And I get this call from my buddy Noah. I'm living life. Things are good. And I'm happy to hear. He's like, "Hey Jesse, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey Noah, great to hear from you. How are you doing?" He's like, "Great." He's like, "Hey, I got a story to tell you, and I'm asking your advice." And I'm like, "Okay, Noah, please tell me what's going on, because you mean the world to me, buddy. How can I help you, Noah?" And then he poses it a little bit different. He's like, "Well, I have this friend, and his girlfriend is cheating on him. Like, what would you do if you were in that shoe?" And I said, "Noah, this is so simple for me. I'd want to know. I'd be like, Noah, call your buddy, tell him your girlfriend is cheating on you. You got to take care of this." And he's like, "All right, Colette's cheating on you." And I'm like, bam. "All right, Noah, I gotta go." Turned bright red in about 3 seconds flat. I think my temperature increased from the typical 98 to about 103, maybe 104. My brain was melting. But at the end of the day, the point of this story is that's a great friend, someone who calls and lets you know, hey, your world that is so great has a slight ripple, a fold. That tsunami's coming your way.
So on the flip side, like so that's his point of view. My point of view is one of my fraternity brothers actually caught his fiance at the time. I'm gonna try to not say the name or anything like that.
Boom.
But in any case, he's like, "Hey Noah," he goes, "I saw your buddy's fiance cheating on someone at another party." I'm like, "What? Get out of here!" He's like, "Nah." And so the next time that there was another party, I went and I witnessed it too. So I was like, wow, moral dilemma here. Like, what do I do? Because like I've been friends with Jesse since since I knew him back in 90, I don't know, 88, 89, something like that. Like
Yeah.
when we were freshmen in high school.
I remember that English class.
And then but I was also friends with his fiance because she also went to the same high school as we did. So I was friends with both of them, and I'm like, wow, I'm friends with both of them. They're engaged to get married. And but I've been friends with Jessie longer than her, and so I'm like, what do I do, right? And so I felt like I was in a moral dilemma. Like I don't want to betray one friend, but I don't want to let the other friend down either. And so I called up and I gave him that story, like, hey, I have this friend who's his fiance's cheating on him, and what would you do? And he's like, yeah, I would just tell the person. I'm like, all right, well, your fiance's cheating on you, and like I could tell he wasn't very happy. It felt like he didn't talk to me for a while, but ultimately, I don't know why I thought that ended our friendship, because he did end up getting married later on, and he made me, and I was one of his best men, or I set
You
up
were
in his
the
wedding.
best man.
I was the best man. So obviously, it didn't really end our friendship and stuff, and we've been pretty good friends ever since. So if you are listening to our podcast and enjoying our banter back and forth, what I would ask you guys is like, what does a good friend mean to you? Do you guys have a story of what a good friend would do? If so, just leave it in the comments. If you think what I did was messed up by calling them and telling them, leave that in the comments too. We'd love to hear your comments, and we'll definitely reply back to them and stuff. But in any case, yeah, I just thought that was a weird story. I like when you're telling, like saying like how we knew each other stuff. I thought that was like, wow. I don't know what we're gonna talk about tonight, but that one just definitely did pop up. That's for sure.
It's a good point to bring up because when people reference how we are friends and why you're so important to me, because I let them know your relationship with me as a friend is that important. That is absolutely one of the stories, is because I trust you, because you're willing to do what's right when most people won't. And Noah, I will forever appreciate that about you. I will always cherish that story. No, didn't feel good to hear, but at the end of the day, it was the right thing, and that's what I want in a friend, is someone who will do the right thing, and that means sometimes it may hurt my feelings, and that can be by any number of things. It can be like, hey, Jesse, don't buy the Ferrari. It's too out of your range at the minute. It could also be, hey, Jesse, this is not good. It could be, hey, Jesse, this is great. But more importantly, it was, hey, Jesse, this is something I saw and I need you to know because I care about you. And know I love you for that.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
I think having a good friend, you have to. There's a bunch always. There's always give and take. There's gonna be good times. There's gonna be bad times. So I think we definitely have learned that over the years.
Yes.
And then the other cool thing, though, I think that's happened to us throughout our friendship is that when I did move out of state, there was like a whole long period where I think we totally lost touch. Like
a decade, man.
Yeah, right. Like I don't think we knew each other's phone numbers anymore. No email, no nothing. And I think it's awesome. I think I'm not sure who you bumped into. I don't know. Did you get a hold of my mom first, or was it my brother, or how did that all come about?
I decided I was going on a road trip, and I did follow you on Facebook and social media. Not as a stalker, guys, but I did follow you on social media, and that's ultimately how I contacted you, was Messenger, and got a hold of you and let you know I was going to be flying through Utah and would love to see you, and it worked out, and really was great, and has been.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun time meeting up with you in Utah, and like honestly, I hate Facebook, or maybe Facebook hates me because hell, those jerks, they keep putting me in Facebook jail. Like the other day, I'm not sure if you do this, but the other day, I posted something back in 2013. And they sent me a message saying that they're giving me a 30-day suspension.
Again?
Again, yeah. For this like Valentine's card. It's like a Valentine's card, and it has like a bunch of different like communists, like Stalin and like Mao, or like and I forget like how like they like the little sayings are on there. But this is something I posted like 8 years ago. And now they're telling me like it goes against community standards, and so now I'm getting a 30-day ban for something I posted 8 years ago when none of this like community standard stuff really existed at that point in time, or they weren't enforcing it. So, anyways, yeah, Facebook and I have a love-hate relationship. I love to hate it.
Well, hey, I understand that. I haven't been on Facebook really much at all. Tragically, probably missed some good birthdays of people who may have wished I wanted them to let them know they had a great birthday, but I did want them to have a great birthday. I just didn't reach out. I also, much like yourself, really lost a lot of touch with it, with some of the things they've done. I guess politically lately is one of the pieces, just zero interest, and the other piece is it's not always the best site for freedom of speech. So I agree with you, Noah. That's a pretty interesting topic that I will not go too deep into right now.
Yeah, we'll save that topic for another night. I think today's just more of like a meet and greet, enjoy a scotch that we both really enjoy, and share some information with you guys. And hopefully you'll enjoy our podcast and continue listening in to us, because we do intend to enjoy different scotches while we do our Scotch Hour, and talk about different topics. I know Jesse is really big into fashion. I used to like fashion a lot when I was in high school too, like in our senior year. He's definitely really big into Ferraris and other kind of cars. Recently, one of my big interests has been guns. I love guns now.
Guns. Everyone loves
Guns.
guns, man. They're
You know,
toys.
you know what the best thing about
They're
guns are?
tools, not toys.
Best thing about guns is a hot woman who's shooting a gun.
Ah, I like
I love
that.
it. You gotta love a. Doesn't I mean you gotta just love a woman who shoots a gun, which kind of brings me to. Sorry, don't want to bring up politics too much, but I love the Colorado third district representative. I forget her name, but she owns that restaurant Shooters, and she carries a concealed gun there on Capitol Hill and stuff. I think she's awesome.
Nice.
Some Bogart. I forget what her name is,
Ah,
but
we'll have to dig into that and get to
yeah,
that next
we'll
time.
talk about her
Before
another
the
time.
scotch.
Before the Scotch, yeah.
Yeah, but it brings up a good point. Noah and I both enjoy tools and toys, and we are men. We love pushing limits, usually correctly, sometimes not, but absolutely a fan of our rights, our American constitutional rights is a big thing that at some point we will absolutely touch base on because that should be important to all of us. I know I talk to my kids about it and they appreciate them as well. And it's a big deal. Another thing real quick to mention is we are not only children. Noah has a brother, Adam, if you're out there, cheers, buddy. And I have two sisters, Jen, Lily, if you're out there, go to sleep. It's time to go to work tomorrow. And we love our siblings as well. But so there is going to be
Some interesting stories with your
Oh my
siblings.
goodness, that's what brings that up. Can't wait for that. Yes, I can. Not tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about our siblings tonight. Adam, Jen.
Yeah. What? Huh?
I don't know what stories are going on there, but you
Huh.
guys, I don't know. Yeah, we won't talk about that one.
Yeah.
But just to kind of also talk a little bit about each other. Interesting is that something I find interesting is that you, uh, you kind of went more the responsible route. Found a company to work for that you liked. Got married, had kids, built a big home. All right, you got a big home. You got a nice home, um, and you got You sounds like you have great children. Once again, I haven't met them
They
yet.
are amazing. Noah, geez Louise, we need to make this happen. We will make this happen.
And on the flip side, while he was doing all that, right, being a responsible adult, I would say that maybe I was not a responsible adult, but nonetheless, I had some great life experiences. Like while he was building a life like that, I was out traveling. I went to Germany a couple of times. I've been to Ireland, been to the UK, France, Czech Republic, been to Canada, been to Mexico, been to a bunch of states. So while he was being responsible, which I think is awesome, because like sometimes when I take a step back and I look at things like, man, I kind of admire his lifestyle. And then I'm sure at the same time he like looks at my. I'm like, you could correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm sure sometimes you look at like the freedom that I had to like be able to travel, do all kinds of crazy stuff,
Absolutely.
try to build like three businesses, which all three of them I failed at, but eventually I get one of them to work. Uh,
I know, absolutely. You bring up a really good point, Noah. We are very different in many ways and others similar. And one of those pieces is I absolutely cherish the thought of, man, this guy got to go to Europe. I am hoping to go for the first time this year when COVID finally allows me. The only reason I might get a vaccine, by the way, so I can get a card that'll let me out of the country and back
oh, don't get a
in.
vaccine, man.
Oh man, I gotta travel. Just saying, they're gonna hold people
I
hostage
would
to go to concerts with it.
I would say, look, like I don't know, I don't know what anybody's point of view is about the so-called quote unquote science or not or whoever you want to listen to, but I think with how quickly they developed this vaccine, I would just pump the brakes on it and wait until like some more results come in, because you don't want to. let's just say there's some bad adverse reactions that occur with the vaccine, but we don't know about it until like 2, 3, 4 years down the line. So I would just say pump the brakes on it. Stay safe. Don't get me wrong, right? Do whatever you got to do to stay safe, but like just pump the brakes on the vaccine. That's and let's wait and see. Like make sure people aren't growing third arms and stuff.
I mean, third arm might be useful.
Well, you know.
All right, let's backtrack a little bit. We're going to talk one a little bit piece also. Some of our favorite scotches, what our tastes are. So for myself, I am a huge Lagavulin fan. I actually bought my dad a bottle of 16 year. I keep at my house, and we have shots once in a while to celebrate different victories throughout our lives. Dad, if you're out there, I love you, man. I can't wait till we get to.
Cheers,
Yeah,
Milton.
yes, can't wait till we get to do that again. Lagavulin is definitely, to me, a very peaty, full-bodied, strong Scotch. Has gotten a bad rapport by some based on just how bold it is in certain ways. That's something I love about it. Something I cherish about it. Different Scotch in another way is a smokehead, another brand of Scotch, which is
Hey, I'm
absolutely.
gonna say time out here.
Whoa.
Whoa, time out. I'm gonna say like, why don't we wait till we actually do a show and we'll talk about each one of those then.
I love it. So you bring up a good point, but I just want to say, Noah, my all-time favorite currently, I'm not saying I'm not able to change, is Lagavulin. What is your current favorite Scotch on this planet?
Uh, well, I would say there's probably two favorites. One for like more of like an everyday type one is definitely the Ardbeg 10.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're talking about a little bit something that's a little bit nicer, I do like your Lagavulin 18, right? That's what
Oh,
it is. That's a,
so good.
I remember us at a wedding.
Oh man.
We sitting around
Lagavulin
a
16.
campfire and drinking a whole bottle. So, well, maybe I don't remember it, but
I'll just leave it there.
so.
We got pictures I don't remember we taking.
Any case, I don't know. Is there any other topics you want to talk about other in our intro here podcast?
I'm just going to step back for a little bit. Noah and I both love to communicate and debate and Socraterally speak about many things. One of which is extraterrestrial life, aliens, and
Dude, I totally love aliens.
oh man, I love aliens too. So that will definitely be one of the subjects we breach in our future. Looking forward to that. Going down to Roswell, doing some fun things there once they open the restrictions and we can actually go and rent a hotel and go into a museum and visit their state park. You know, right now you can't go to Roswell, New Mexico and visit the state park unless you're a resident. It's crazy.
Don't you have to do like a 14-day quarantine or something goofy like that?
It's all whacked out. Anyway, I'm just they're protecting their own. I'm not challenging that. But like, man, drive revenue. It's a state park. Let me in.
Take
Found
my
out the
money.
hard way.
It's like
right?
that meme with Fry from Futurama. Take my money.
Right? A couple other things, and Noah touched quickly on these. Yeah, we both at times love fashion. Myself in particular, definitely big on that. Very big on art. So we'll talk about some of our favorite artists.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know, like one of my favorite artists is Dolly.
There we go. And I, after my recent trip to Philly not so long ago, a few years ago, switched over from Picasso as my all-time favorite artist to Monet, and then was blessed, honestly, to experience Monet at the Denver Art Museum many times.
Did he impress you? He is an impressionist.
Oh man! Snap! Gotcha. He did impress me to the point where in Philly, one of the security guards started following me, beautiful young lady, and she's like, I've never seen someone so excited and happy and passionate about revisiting paintings, and I told her as I was bouncing in between the whole museum, but also visited several days because when you go to Philly and you get a museum pass, it's usually good for a few days. And going back, and I was like, yeah, like this Monet has absolutely moved me. And then when it came to the Denver Art Museum, my hometown, and I got to go see it with some friends, great friends. I was like, holy smokes, this is amazing. It's even better than I remember. It makes me feel emotions. And some of Monet's, like, honestly, some of my favorites
Didn't he
aren't his
do
garden
the?
scenes. It's the boats and the shores and other
Didn't he
things.
do this? Is he the one who did the Starry Night?
Oh, you're talking about another artist,
Who's the one who did Starry Night?
Dolly?
No, Dolly didn't do Starry Night.
No, man, I am drawing a blank. Thank you, Ardbeg. Man, I got the Starry Night socks and everything. How am I
Is
missing
that
them?
Van Gogh?
It's Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh. There
Okay,
you go.
Van Gogh.
No,
All right, Van
you
Gogh.
nailed it. No, Monet did is known honestly for his garden and his plants and his pictures. But man, when I got to go experience that, absolutely overwhelmed with emotion and loved it
Is that Monet?
so much.
Monet, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
that's the bro.
That's your bro.
It was an amazing exhibit. Thank you, Denver Art Museum.
I think I spelled it wrong. Oh no, I did. Okay, cool. I would say he does have a good knack with colors. Um, I'm not really sure if he moves me though. I will say this though, like when you see like looking at it here on the screen, um, to me not very moving. But when you actually see some of these paintings in real life, oh my gosh, they are awesome. Like when I was in Amsterdam, I saw the original Night Watchman.
Oh,
That
really?
painting, yeah. I
Really?
forget who the artist is of the Night Watchman. But that painting is amazing. So yeah, and then see like and talking about museums, that Philadelphia museum, whoa! I mean like,
Bro, family friendly.
family friendly, family friendly. Okay,
We're not talking about
that
Chinese food here. This is not pho.
uh, that is an incredible art museum.
I agree.
You could spend days in there. When you went in there? Did you go to that area that was like it looked like a little tiny like Japanese
Yes,
village?
yeah, twice.
Yeah,
I,
isn't
I
that
went
cool?
back twice. It was a wonderful vacation, one of the best ever in my life. But yes, yeah, I loved it. And you actually feel like you are not in a museum. You feel like you're in a little Japanese village.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's amazing like how much stuff is in that Philadelphia museum. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast right now, like the Philadelphia Museum doesn't pay us or anything like that. Like Ardbeg is not paying us, like but that museum is totally worth it. Like if you've never been to Philly and you're looking for an excuse to go to Philly, you have to go there to the art museum. Also, there on the outside of the art museum, you can take a picture of the Rocky statue. You can run up the Rocky stairs. You can do all that stuff too, which I thought was kind of fun. I did run up the stairs. That was when I was a little bit more fit pre-COVID. Post-COVID, I'm more of a tubby guy, but pre-COVID, definitely a lot more fit. Ran up those stairs, pretty cool. Took a picture of Rocky. I thought that was awesome. But going into that museum, like honestly, like I love Denver and all that stuff, but they don't have a museum like that.
No, there are many things Philly has that Denver just does not. And yeah, I actually ache. I want to go back so badly. I can't wait to go back. I'm hoping that the haunted tours are still happening. One of the experiences I had was a haunted tour one evening.
Was that over at that Eastern Penitentiary?
Yes, well, it visited many different
Oh, okay.
areas of the state, but it talked about everything from Bram Stoker and Dracula.
Oh, I
Um,
never did that haunted tour.
oh man, it's amazing to all of the different wrongs and rights, if you will, with politicians to the time, and Edgar Allan Poe, and the gentleman, an amazing teacher who's a
talking
professor.
about real quick pause. Talking about Edgar Allan Poe, I got not this podcast, but another podcast. I got a pretty fun story about Edgar Allan Poe and his grave.
I know where you're going with that. We'll visit that another time for sure. But Edgar Allan Poe and the gentleman who led my tour gave me a funny compliment. I'm going to say it was a compliment because he's like, man, this is the first time anyone in the 8 years I've done this has been taking notes. And I felt like I needed to, and I still have them at home, sir, kind sir. I will not dispose of those notes, and I have visited them several times over the last couple of years because everything from Dead Ringer, and you know what that means if you visited the tour, to Edgar Allan Poe and different pieces in the museum will and forever will stick with me and have a positive impact on my life. So thank you so much.
Did you actually take a tour of the Eastern Penitentiary?
I did. It was amazing. And
did you do like the audio tour where you just like you would listen to like you go to each stop and you can listen to
I
the
did
audio?
that, and then I also had a tour guide for a piece of it, and both were amazing. Honestly, the audio tour is great. Everything in Philadelphia, by the way, guys, if you're listening, is great. You can get a Lagavulin, haha, my Scotch, anywhere. So great stop. But yeah, Capone's, I'm not going to call it a cell, I'm going to call it a suite, was amazing.
Yeah, Capone's cell was pretty cool. Let's see if we can pull that up real quick for you guys. There's got to be pictures on the internet for it.
Yeah, just imagine you're in prison, right? You're supposed to be in prison, and your prison involves ladies visiting you in the night, and cell doors not locked, so to speak. So his experience in prison was very different than most. And you know, one thing never to forget about Capone, whenever.
So right here, they should be able to see Capone's cell there in Eastern State Penitentiary. Like that, like, come on.
That's not a cell.
That is not a cell. I mean, it looks like he's in it looks like a well-furnished cave, really.
That's exactly what it looks like.
I mean, if you listen like to the audio tour and so like that guy had it freaking made.
Yeah.
Like he was not suffering in there whatsoever.
No, he wasn't. He was not at all. But you know, one of the things you got to remember about Capone as well is all of the mouths he fed during the Depression.
So you're trying to make a bad guy look good?
I will absolutely make this bad guy look good for all the good he did, even though he was bad. Really think about that. As far as I imagine, that's part of why he was afforded this luxury at that point in his life. Was all these people had and knew and experienced some piece of the positive that he did.
I think that would be another good Scotch hour right there.
Man.
He's talking about the Roaring Twenties
Yeah!
And the gangsters and stuff like that. Talking about like Dillinger and Capone and you know, the mafia maybe. And I think that'd be kind of a fun topic.
Absolutely.
If you guys like that, idea, put that in the comments too. That you guys want to hear us talk about, like maybe the mafia. Or the Roaring Twenties, or if there's any other topics you consider, or you guys might want us to just to chit chat and talk over about with a glass of scotch, we'll be more happy to talk about it.
Absolutely, and as you can probably already foretell, we will absolutely be talking about the Rat Pack at different times. Cigars, maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying I support.
Yeah, actually, I can't wait till it gets a little bit warmer out. Like I know we're getting ready for a big snowstorm. But when we get to the summertime and be able to sit outside like by your fire pit and stuff like that, and have the cameras going and rolling, so that way you guys can see us as we talk and share the stuff with you, and have like a little Scotch hour outside, smoking a cigar, enjoying a nice bottle. That'll be I think that'll be a blast. And hopefully, if we're really lucky, because like right where where we're at, so occasionally some people get into a really nasty bike accident.
Man.
So I still want to see one. Jesse said he's seen quite a bit since he's lived at this place, and I have yet to see one. And I totally would like to see a big wipeout. Not that I want to see anybody get hurt necessarily, but I would love to see it crash. Like it's like the only time you watch the race, like a race, like a car race, is just to see the wrecks.
I mean, I don't know. Like I watched Formula One. Another thing I am a huge fan of. Talk about a political game. We will visit that
Oh,
at some
talk about
point.
that a little bit too. But I'll talk about Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh my goodness, that will
Did you like
absolutely
that
be
movie?
oh snap! That will absolutely be an hour of scotch. Picking the right scotch for that one will have to be a mutual discussion because I loved that movie. It is a phenomenal movie, very historically based, very politically based, well done, phenomenal actors throughout.
Can you believe how they fucked that one? Can you believe how they messed that one guy over?
That's life. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
can
Was it
believe.
Miles? That's his name, right?
Oh man, it's so bad.
I mean, telling him to slow down when he had the race won, and then like he
by
ends up coming,
laps. Yeah,
and he comes in what, second or third or something goofy like that.
he didn't win was the point.
Yeah.
And you know what though? The other point of that is he was okay with it. He grew so much, and that's the tragedy is then his life. Well, we'll go to there another day.
I think another movie. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I think another movie I'd love to talk about is The Greatest Game. It's a golf movie. It's a true story. I don't know if you saw that. It's done by Disney. I think Disney does a pretty good job with like
I
sports
mean,
movies.
definitely with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian. I don't know. To me, The Mandalorian is like Clint Eastwood spaghetti western meets
Yes!
meets
Yes!
sci-fi.
Dude, you nailed it.
I love The Mandalorian. We'll have to talk about that. I'm not so sure about like why everyone's so big over like Baby Yoda, but I think the overall story and how it plays out I think is really great. And come on, the ending of season two. Like I'm not gonna say how it ends and the end of season two of Mandalorian, but that was the bomb.
It was great, and I think as a parent, I can absolutely relate.
So I think with that, I'm not sure if we've hit an hour yet, but I don't know. What do you think? Where are we at?
We're probably pretty close, but you guys, hope you've enjoyed this hour with myself, with Noah,
Oh
with
wait, we got 20 more minutes. We're
oh
at 40.
what?
We're at 41 minutes.
Oh, we need to keep talking.
Oh yeah, we can keep talking. What do you want to talk about now? Like,
You're going back to movies, so a couple other, and so another topic we will occasionally visit is absolutely music. Speaking of which, I love the Yellow Wolf, not Yellow Wolf, but Yellow Wolf. And classical music, we love jazz. There are many things we like, so we will absolutely venture in, much like with Scotch and other liquors, venture into many different types of music. And
that's
really
good.
delve into that piece.
Can you give me a rock there?
Ah, you got it, rock heading your way.
So, as we're hitting in the last furlong here, if you catch my horse racing comment there, I actually do like having a rock in my scotch. It's just it chills it just a little bit, and as long as the rock, which is the ice cube, for those of you who don't know what a rock is, which if you're of the younger age, maybe you don't know that,
Yeah,
but
1 carat diamond, bro.
it's just an ice cube, and I think just having like one little ice cube in there is enough to chill it just slightly a little bit, and it helps mild out the little bit of a bite that you might get on a scotch. Don't get me wrong, a very, very, very good scotch you could definitely drink and neat, but I typically like to have a rock. But that's just my opinion. I don't know.
I like to keep my scotches in my basement right around the 60-degree mark so that they don't need a rock. Also, one of the things with wines is you guys are drinking your wines, you probably realized if you keep it cool and at the right temperature as it warms up in your hand, that flavor comes out full bodied. So really enjoy it
Well,
that
they
way.
shouldn't be chilling a red wine in the first place, but that's a different story for another night.
I mean, hey, 54 degrees ain't so bad.
I've come across some people who like have like a red Bordeaux. They keep it in their fridge. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah, that's not necessarily the right choice.
You're right. I know.
We'll go there. Couple other movies, series, and you guys can absolutely let us know moving forward.
Series we definitely got to talk about. I know it's an older series. Some of you younger folk may not know about it, or if you do, then you might enjoy us talking about it. But I definitely think we need to talk about X-Files.
Oh yes, absolutely. Not just the X Files. I'm gonna jump back and forth, and at some point, I must hit on Miami Vice. Come on, man. It's the fashion and Ferraris. Oh, yeah, you got to hit up on that. So
was that Crockett and Tubbs? Is that who it is?
Crockett and Tubbs. Okay. We'll do our own Crockett and Tubbs. Literally, again, as Noah mentioned earlier, we're not endorsed by anyone, but Voodoo Donuts makes an amazing Miami Vice donut once a year for 1 month a year. And it's my favorite time of the year to go to their shop. So, Miami Vice. And then also, I cannot wait to talk about a couple other things. One of which is Sherlock Holmes. I love a great murder mystery.
Are you talking like the old black and white Sherlock Holmes, or are you talking about like the new ones with, what's his name?
Cumberbatch. Well, we're going to talk about all of them. But we're also going to, you're thinking Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. Cumberbatch is the BBC version, but we're also going to...
I was actually talking about like real old, like black and white days.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about all of them. We're going to compare all of them. We're going to talk about the differences between science and technology and the actors and the emotion that they bring in. But another thing that I'm currently looking into and doing a little bit of research is Agatha Christie's Poirot. The officer known for solving mysteries such as Murder on the Orient Express and
that was the Murder on the Orient Express. That was Agatha Christie.
Yeah, and then up and coming Murder on the Nile was another one that was, again, COVID has changed so much in life, but Murder on the Nile was supposed to already have been released.
So you know what would be actually really cool if like COVID gets lifted and we don't have to have vaccines to travel and all that stuff. Because I'm totally anti-vaccine for this. At least until it's proven, right?
I hear you.
At least until it's proven. But they have an Oriental Express train ride.
Yes, they do.
And I think it'd be so much fun to do a podcast on that.
Oh my goodness, you're reading my mind. Cheers. But Poirot in his own self is a very interesting character. We don't honestly have the time to dive into right now. But really, as he becomes not just a detective, but who he is, it's so easy to look at one glimpse and not understand the complexity of an individual, a character, someone that was written. Cannot wait to look into that character and dive further forward because as some of the things I've most recently learned, it's just amazing why he is the person he is, who he is, how he reacts, and really, I don't know, he's a model friend or compatriot, but he's absolutely someone who is unbiased and works towards the truth. You know, he definitely wouldn't hesitate to let me know my fiance was cheating on me.
Yeah. Did not feel good that day. I don't think it was a good day for either one of us.
I mean, it's one of my favorite moments in life. I have several, many of which will
It's one of my least favorite moments.
Oh, come on, man. You know I celebrate that when
I know you celebrate it, but I tell you what, it was not fun being being a messenger.
I hear you. Now, out there, audience, please. Give us some feedback on how you would feel. Where do you sit? Should Noah have given me that feedback? Because I loved it. Should he have not given me that feedback? Because he was tortured and still to this day apparently feels bad, even though it is literally one of the reasons that I trust him.
Don't get me wrong. I think ultimately I felt like I did the right thing, but at the same time, like I said, I just hated being the messenger.
I hear that, but at the same time, you did the right thing. You were the Clint Eastwood in that story. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
else that we want to touch on before we wrap this one, this baby up?
You know, a couple other things I just really want to touch on is reaching out to you guys and seeing what do you want, what do you need. Please give us feedback. We're very open. We are trying to do this to grow for ourselves. We want to be better individuals. This is something that's definitely, I don't know that I can speak for both of us, but definitely a stretch moment for me. This is not necessarily easy to jump on here and try to speak mostly freely. We'll have to edit some things out, I'm sure, from time to time. But to try to speak freely and get to the point where we can do these live and involve you and get your feedback, your questions, your comments in the moment this upcoming summer when we're out at the fire pit grilling meats and drinking scotch and having a blast and involving you in our lives in this moment where life is continuing to change.
That's a great point. I honestly, if you are listening to our podcast, and hopefully you will like what we talk about, so please like, share, subscribe to our podcast. But please, like, if you got questions, like if you got like a dumb question or a serious question or any kind of question that you want us to talk about on Scotch Hour, we would love to talk about it and get you guys get involved into our podcast, whether it be as a recording like this, or when we start doing live podcasts. That we would love to have your guys' input. We would love to grow Scotch Hour into a big, I'd say
a giant family.
A giant family. Something to where we could be a part of your lives and part of our lives going forward for a long time to come. And hopefully each one of our episodes in the near future and beyond will be something that you guys enjoy. And then hopefully if we prove ourselves to you guys and to future viewers and listeners, maybe we will even earn the ability to have a subscription base where you can donate to us and stuff like that, to where we can reinvest into our podcast, do a lot more adventurous things with it, and sharing it with you guys.
Bring you guys along. Let's go for a train ride. Have 50 guests, all part of our podcast, sharing the scotch.
Sharing the scotch. Basically, like honestly, if we don't make a dime for this, that's fine too. This is all about having fun and sharing a wonderful conversation with each other, with you as a group, and hopefully you enjoy our banter and you guys see us as two goofy people who are having fun talking about topics that you guys enjoy.
Yeah, reminiscing about the good old days, but still being real about today. Some things you will absolutely see from me, some flamboyant clothing once we go video very soon. And then also something you'll see from both of us, proper challenges. I'm not going to say dares, but proper challenges. About here's my first one, Noah. What's one thing you love about me and one thing you don't?
One thing I love about you?
Yeah, what am I great at, and what do I need to fix yesterday, 10 years ago, 40 years ago?
Okay, so one thing I love about you, right? I think you have an awesome attitude, and I'll give you two, and you've been a loyal friend. One thing I think you need to change.
Oh shit.
Right?
I mean poop.
One thing I think you need to change is, like, I think sometimes, at least way back when, you went from like one serious relationship to another serious relationship without taking time for yourself to get to know yourself. So I think not that it's a bad thing. A lot of people do it. I just think that maybe sometimes jumping from one relationship to another relationship, you might need some time to do a little bit of self-discovery. So I would say just take a pause. So that would be the one thing I would say you might need to change, which I think you're doing right now. I think you're taking a pause right now instead of going from one to one to one to one. That would be my advice. So I'll just flip it back to you.
Oh snap! Right back at me. All right, Noah. I cannot begin to list off the number of things I actually love about you. Um, but one of them is, and it goes all the way back to that story, which is you are honest with me and I trust you. And I don't know how many people are out there listening that are really considering this, but if you really put yourself in that position, how many of your friends do you trust to the end? How many of your friends do you trust would literally tell you, hey man, this could end our relationship, but I'm going to tell you the truth anyway because that's what's right, and that is what I most more than anything adore, love, and cherish about you know is the fact that you are honest with me, and you know that that can come of consequence. But I think in the same sense, the part that also builds upon that is that means I have faith that you trust me as much to know that I know you're doing the right thing. And I'm not going to hold that against you. And so I love that about you, man. That is something so great. I also love your energy, your enthusiasm, your ability to take a challenge and take a risk and just put it all out there, whereas I would have hesitated. And this was one of these things with this podcast right here right now is I want everything perfect, and you're willing to take a jump, a leap of faith where I'm like, where's the script, what do I read? And you give me this fair challenge, and I love it and I appreciate it too. Hey, we're going to go unscripted. We're going to go out there. We're going to be daring, and we're going to give this a chance. And yeah, I may be a flop, but we both love what we're doing, and that's the point. Is that this isn't about making money. This isn't a job. This is about having fun. It's about building a relationship. It's about hopefully at some point building a relationship, a friendship further, and then also educating and bringing other people along, making a positive impact on this planet. I know that's what your goal is the same as mine, is to make this positive impact on people on this planet. And I get so passionate, and I'm here slamming my wrists on this table, and I apologize for that, but I'm right there with you. I am energized by your drive. So that's number one. Man, I don't know that I absolutely or even kind of hate anything about you. And this is one of my fails, is that I'm very accepting. One of the reasons that I've always bounced from here to there. But the one thing I say for you, and you're actually doing it right now, which is the irony, and I love it because here we are together, is you're building an investment for a potential solid future, and you've done that economically in many ways that is nobody else's business besides what you've shared with me. But you're taking proper steps, you're doing the right things, you're making moves to build a solid future, and that's hard because you really don't have any ties. You don't have any reason to do that. You're living your best life in so many ways, but what you're doing is you're actually rooting. You're giving yourself some roots to build a bigger tree, if you will, and to build this foundation of a house, this root system of a bulb, of a tulip, of a future tree, of a forest. And that was the one thing I would have given you in the past, but you're already doing it. So all I'm going to say, I guess, as far as my challenge I would give to you is don't stop. Keep doing that. Keep building upon what you're doing. Let's see how far you can take this, and I cannot wait to see, because I believe in you. I trust you. I trust so few people on this planet. I trust my parents, I trust you, and about a handful, there's literally 6 other people. For those that are out there, if you're one of those 6 people, you already know it. I trust 6 other people besides those 3 that I just mentioned, and man, I'm so excited. I love you, man.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you.
No,
Way deeper than
thank
mine.
you.
I feel bad now.
Don't feel bad for a second. But out there, you guys, please give us some feedback. That was the point of this. Is the we just put our neck on the line, literally put a noose around ourselves and practically jumped off the cliff. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you don't love. Let us know what would build upon it. We definitely believe in doing right. We definitely want this to be a podcast that you guys don't have to worry about any of your family listening to. I'm not saying that a 4-year-old should listen to what we're talking about, but a 16-year-old shouldn't be afraid to. So we've had a few slips, I'm sure, tonight. But give us that feedback. Let us build upon this. We want this family friendly, if you will. We want this to be something where hopefully you can listen to it or watch it on your way to work or at lunch. And when you're done, you feel good and you continue to believe in this world and yourself.
That's great. I totally agree with every word you had to say there. Like honestly, if we can have this conversation here with between each other and with our audience when we for those who do end up watching us and listening to us, whether it be our immediate friends and family who we're probably going to introduce this to, and then maybe our future viewers. Um, yeah, if we can make this one big, huge, happy family, and if there's any advice out there that we could give to give a positive impact, because I'm sure I'm sometimes I might be a little bit more of the weirdo of the two of us.
I don't know about that.
I mean, because I don't doubt that I will want to talk about stuff like chakras
Please do.
and yoga and
I love goat yoga.
and
I've got pictures.
and stuff like the like the third eye and stuff like that. So we'll talk about stuff like that too. But please know as well though. Even though we're going totally off book, there's no scripts, no nothing. Going forward, we will be a little bit more structured in the fact that we'll have certain topics that we're going to stick to. This is just more of this first episode is just more about an introduction to us, a little bit of banter back and forth, so you know what to expect, and some of the ideas that we have about our podcast.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it will become something that is very successful that you guys, for those of you who are listening, will be able to count on. That we will be like a voice or maybe a show that you can rely on to listen to maybe escape the negatives of the world for at least an hour of your day, and hopefully you enjoy what we banter about. Again, I like using the word banter. Apparently, I've said it like 10 times already. So
I mean, who's counting? 14 and a half.
14 and a half, right? So with that, the last thing I would have to say, and we can wrap it out here, is please, 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 if you're listening to our podcast, help us get the word out. Please like, share, subscribe our podcast with anybody that you know. Anybody who wouldn't mind listening to us just talk back and forth about different topics. One of our main goals is to talk about different scotches, occasionally maybe cigars or even wine. Different
Dude,
types
we're
of
going to go
wines.
Champagne City.
We'll talk about champagnes. We'll talk about wines. Wines is definitely one of my fortes. I was a wine buyer for a little while, so we'll definitely talk about wines as well. But that's all. That's all I have to say. So I'll wrap out on that note, and I'll say, be well, stay positive. If you have any feedback for us, please let us know. Leave any questions in the comments, and we'll be more happy to answer those on our next podcast or in the comments.
I love that, everything you just said, Noah. And, for me, talking about our purpose, our mission here, one of the things I would really like to do is bring people along. So there you go, audience. You guys are out there. Noah asked you, he's already mentioned. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread it. If you didn't, give us some feedback. If you love certain pieces, give us feedback on that as well so we can build upon that. We want to do well. We want to make a positive impact. For me, that other piece, though, is that bringing other people along. And Noah already mentioned this in one sense, which is, man, once we get this built, we want to do different things, and maybe that's we're going to the Four Corners, or we're going to try to go to Roswell and look at alien stuff and do different things. And my goal, one of my many goals, one of our many goals, is to bring some of you guys with us. So creating an environment where we might potentially meet down there. So we're like, hey, here's where we're going to be. We're going to be on this trip. We're going to plan on being in Roswell on this date at this time. If you guys can be there, that's great. We let us know if you want to be there. We'll create reservations, restaurants, do different things, talk about fun things. They've got amazing tours in different areas. There's cruises, there's alien cruises, there's Scotch cruises, not to mention Scotch. There's Scotch cruises. There's different trips to Champagne, Scotland, visiting the area of Ely, which is where Ardbeg is from, as well as many Scotches, and then also
Oh,
really having flights. So one of the things we will get to is these different flights of Scotch, where we'll create menus for you guys where you can build that and try them with us, and hopefully it's exciting. Come on, have some fun. I'm gonna end. I can talk forever. I love life. I am very enthusiastic about flavors and tastes, and Noah has shown me so much. He still knows far more than I do about any wine. I will challenge him on champagne only because Bollinger is the best. But that being said, man, you guys have some fun with us, please. Noah, did you have a comeback?
no,
All
we're
right,
good.
all right, you guys. That's all I have. If you guys have some feedback, please, please, please give it to us. We're gonna have some fun, I hope. And Noah, man, one last final cheers.
Cheers.